Good. Hey, everyone. I am Katie from the Virginia Department of Transportation's Operations Division, and I work on performance measures and data analytics for the Traffic Operations Program. And today I'm going to talk about how Virginia uses some of the TIM data that we collect. Virginia collects traffic incident data at 5 regional operation centers around the state. Incidents are detected by a variety of sources, and operators key in the incident details into a central advanced transportation management system, or ATMS. In addition to traffic incidents, operators are reporting road impacts due to weather and work zones. Incident data is reported statewide. However, most of the data that we have is on the interstate system. The operators are collecting all kinds of details when an incident is reported, and I grouped some of the details into 2 boxes here to highlight a lot of the fields that we use regularly for performance reporting. The left box is showing some of the details which are collected and we use most frequently. These include the type of incident, important times like start and end, the lane clear time, and the scene clear time, and other details about the severity, for example. And then the right box shows the incident response data, which is collected for each incident record. And this includes who comes to the scene for incident response, when they're notified, when they arrive, and when they leave. And this is really just a small snapshot of all the data that's collected. The operators are collecting a ton of data whenever they're getting information about an incident. So one of the primary uses for the TIM data VDOT is collecting is for the performance measures. And this really feeds into all the other uses that I'll be outlining in the following slides. The first performance measure is what we call the scene clearance time, which we measure for all crash and disabled vehicle incidents from the time the incident is verified to the time all lanes and shoulders are open and the scene is clear. And here's some graphics showing some trend charts from a recent report. The second measure that we use is called the roadway clearance time, and this is measured for all lane impacting incidents, crash and disabled vehicle incidents, from the time the incident is verified to the time that all lanes are clear and open to traffic. And this is the incident management measure that we focus on the most at VDOT. The last measure I wanted to talk about in detail that we use the TIM data for is in estimating the amount of congestion due to incidents. We have an algorithm that we developed to estimate the causes of congestion on our interstates, which you can see in the pie chart here, and we use the traffic incident data as one of the inputs. We match the time and location of the lane impacting incidents with the amount of vehicle hours of delay that occurs to estimate the impact of the incidents. So the first application for all of this performance data is our regular reporting. The primary audience for our monthly and quarterly reports are executive leadership and regional leadership in the field. And we break down all the data by VDOT district so leadership can track their performance relative to other parts of the state. The reports include performance measures such as roadway clearance time and scene clearance time. We also have an annual report which is available to the public, and I linked it here. If you get a copy of the slides, you'll be able to view that. There's also traffic incident management performance measures which appear on VDOT's public-facing performance dashboard. There are 2 incident management related measures which appear on this dashboard if you were to click the dial here that I circled. It would bring you to this page. The 2 measures here that we're tracking on the public dashboard are the % of lane impacting incidents cleared in less than 30 minutes and less than 90 minutes. And for these measures, we have developed some district-specific targets which are displayed on the dashboard. So beyond just reports and dashboards, we use the TIM data frequently for project and program evaluations. The first example I'll outline is our safety service patrol routes. Over the past few years, we've used TIM data to explore opportunities for SSP expansion, and after implementing, we'll evaluate the improved performance of the new route. So the charts that I'm showing here are from a 2020 analysis after VDOT implemented some changes to the SSP routes on I-81. To measure the benefit, we looked at the number and the percent of incidents SSP were able to respond to, and the average time it took SSP to get to the scene when they were dispatched. The evaluation of the I-81 routes showed a 4-minute improvement in response time and an 11% increase in the percent of incidents that SSP were able to respond to. In addition, the pie chart showed the increase in detection and verification by safety service patrollers. Another program which we have used TIM data to evaluate is the Towing Recovery and Incentive Program, which focuses on the quick response and clearance of commercial vehicle incidents. We track the average roadway clearance time of these incidents as well as the average time it takes towers to arrive on scene to demonstrate the effectiveness of this program. The charts are from an 8-month analysis of the new program on I-81, where clearance of the tractor-trailer incidents has been trending down over the past few years and is at an all-time low with the new program in place. A few years ago, when TRIP began in VDOT's Central region, our research council did a full evaluation of the pilot, and TIM data was essential in that study, and I included a link to that as well. I've listed a few other projects which we have been asked for TIM data and incident performance measures in the past. Typically, we'll use the data to do a baseline analysis before a project begins, or a historical before and after analysis to evaluate the impact of the project or program on traffic incident management after it's been implemented. A few years ago, Virginia began some large-scale studies of our interstate corridors. We began with the I-81 corridor in the western part of the state and then moved to the other interstate corridors. The corridor studies were a comprehensive look at safety and operations using a data-driven approach. And TIM data was used in several of the performance measures, including the person hours of delay due to incidents and the number of lane impacting incidents per mile. The various performance measures were used to identify locations in the top 20% of each measure, which were then considered focus areas for potential improvements. The improvements included both capital projects like ramp redesigns and operations projects like new cameras, message signs, detour planning, and incident management programs. And there's a link to that corridor improvement plan as well. We've been able to do a lot of great things with the TIM data, but we definitely still have some challenges. One big challenge is the data coverage. We have really good TIM data on our interstate system, but in Virginia, the data is pretty sparse on the non-interstates. A big reason for this is the incident detection and verification. Safety Service Patrol and Virginia State Police detect more than 85% of our incidents statewide, and SSP in particular is almost exclusively on the interstate system of Virginia. We are limited in the analysis we can do for projects and programs that are not on the interstate. Data consistency can also provide some challenges. While there are standard statewide operating procedures, the data is still being entered by operators at 5 different operation centers. So naturally there is variation in which and that can come through in the data. One example of a procedural difference I've observed is the way an incident off the travel lanes may be handled. In some of our operation centers, if the incident is moved from the travel lanes to the shoulder and the plan is to return during off-peak hours to clear the scene, the operators will close the incident and create a new planned event to track the cleanup at a later time. But at other operation centers, they will keep the incident record open until the scene is cleared at a later time. And this kind of difference will have a big impact on the scene clearance time calculations between the 2 regions. Along similar lines, there's constraints of the data system which can be challenging. A lot of these data systems were not necessarily designed to be querying data and doing the calculations we're trying to do. I found that there are a lot of little quirks in the system which can cause some unexpected results. The best example of this in Virginia's system is this all-lane clear checkbox, which the operators use to report that all lanes are clear. But the problem is the system doesn't prevent the user from clicking this box if the incident is on the shoulder, meaning that incidents which are not even lane impacting can still have clearance times in the data. Once this was identified, we had to find a workaround to be able to accurately report our performance measures. And the last one is not really a challenge, but more of an opportunity. But once you start introducing more and more uses for the incident performance data, there seems to be an endless appetite out there for more. So it's really an opportunity to explore what questions are possible to answer with all the data that we're collecting. And that's all I have for today, and I've included some contact info on the slides, and I'll look for questions in the chat. Thanks.